We are now streaming, so aloha, aloha, signing in with the first big live stream Manga Club, and I got my boys. Introduce yourself, Toaster. You go first since you're the newest guest.
It's ToasterCat here from channel ToasterCat.
And Jin.
Jen Graves here.
And
If I'm supposed to go out to ToasterCat, I'm from channel Jen Graves.
oh, oh my, we're getting fancy up in here. All
Channel Jim
right.
Graves.
I'm Lohali from Lohali.
What?
Yeah.
Oh no.
I'm blown.
I'm all alone. I'm all alone and there's nobody here besides me. But you gotta have friends. Alright. So everyone voted on sports manga. As we all know, I am a huge sports manga enthusiast. Probably right up there with everybody else. Oh, Dankaroni is part of the live stream, so hello Dankaroni.
What up, Dankaroni?
What's up, Dank?
And let me make sure that I got my live stream going. So, what are some of your guys' like favorite, uh, just sports manga of all time?
Want me to take this one first?
Yes, please.
Actually, I thought this was perfect when you announced this because I'm rereading Slam Dunk right now.
No way.
And that is I've read it before like a couple years ago and it was amazing. I top 3, top 5 for sure. And as I'm rereading this, I'm thinking it's the best. It's the best sports manga hands down. Just love it.
Oh, what do you love about it? What do you? Why is it number one?
I think something that he does well, first of all, Takino Inoue, like art amazing, story amazing. He's proven himself time and time again as being one of the greatest mangakas out there. And what this series does, now that I've noticed for the reading this the second time, is a lot of the time it's kind of hard for these early series, at least in sports, because the main character is typically not from the sports background, so they're really bad in the beginning. But he handles it so well, where he just takes the funny aspect and makes our main character like a fucking hilarious dude. But he's progressively getting better and better and better. I'm like 100 chapters in right now, which is a third of the way done, and he's still like not good whatsoever, but he has his moments, and it's just addicting. I think it's one of the most addicting sports manga out there.
I totally agree.
Oh, why
It's
am I
not my
always
number
the?
one though, but I agree.
I can agree to everything that you said. The only thing, to me, the ending wasn't very satisfying.
Ah, that's hard though.
That is, but the ending
And that
is
and that happens with almost every sports one though, where they
You have
almost
to look at
make
the
it look
journey.
wrong.
You have to look at the journey, man.
the
Yeah,
the journey was great, but they left it on such a cliffhanger that they could have opened it up to a completely new, like, progression after that.
It
And he
goes
just
with the mangaka though. Like he hasn't finished Vagabond, he hasn't finished Real. Like I don't see it would be bad if he were to like do a continuation because we wouldn't get an ending to that continuation.
fine,
true.
fine, fine. I can agree to that. I can agree to that. Uh,
And do
but
you know how much that series has sold? It's insane. It's like one of
We
the
just
highest
want to
selling.
know the love story.
Yeah, it's like one of the highest selling series in Japan ever.
Yeah, it is.
Basketball sports manga. That
mm,
goes to tell how good that shit is.
it's amazing. Don't get me wrong. You will never hear me not say that it is amazing.
You're just gonna say it's not the best.
It's not the best.
Oh
What's your
goodness.
All right, go. Let's go. Best number one, guys.
If I had to
Jingers,
do
what's your
it
number one?
for,
Oh, go, Lohali.
oh, okay, all right,
I wanted to finish it with you because you seem like you have it.
okay, fair
Y-
enough.
You're like, let's go with Graves.
Graves.
My favorite one is I Shield 21.
Well, okay, I'm into that one. I'm into that one. That's no complaints here. I'm only like 15 volumes in, but that shit's really good too.
That's what I'm saying. On that one, my only argument between that's why Slam Dunk is my number two is because between both of those, I feel like Slam Dunk doesn't focus on the characters as much when it comes to how Ice Shield 21 does it. Like Ice Shield 21, you know all the back characters, you know all their backstory. Like they take the time out to do it. Like if you were going to have time to do like a flashback, they use it all, you know, well and everything else, and then you're sitting there reading it and you're like, this is the person that everybody's been talking about, and it's like a character you already know who it is, and it's just
Yeah,
the character progression. Okay, let me ask you a question real quick. Have you gotten to know who
the kicker.
the 60-yard Magnum is?
Yeah, yeah. That was like volume 8 or 9, I think. That was good. That was done really well. I will
That
give you
came
that
out of
one.
nowhere, and I was
What I
like,
would tell you, it that's like the I think Ice Shield 21 is like the One Piece of sports manga because they do like there's this crazy massive big world because they introduce so many teams and they make all these teams sound amazing, but they don't give it to you. Like one team, it's like, oh, these guys are badass. It's like, oh, but one of their aces, his stomach hurt, so he had to leave. Oh, they lost, but you don't know what they could have done with him in there. And like this other guys are like, oh, they're fucking gods, but we haven't seen them yet. It's like it's
yeah.
true. Like it's vast.
Then you're like,
It's
I just got to wait till I get up to that team.
Yeah, and then the hype that builds to it. Yeah, it's really good.
so before we move on, Dankaroni just says, you know, he doesn't like to read. He doesn't read sports manga because he doesn't really like sports, but he thinks Ice Shield 21 is awesome.
Looks cool. Yeah,
It
should
looks
do it.
cool. Yeah, dude. I'm just gonna tell you that sports manga is way different than sports. Like it's way intense.
Yeah,
Like I really think it would be cool if Loha Lee had like a spread of like 5 chapters of a manga about him like weightlifting and stuff, because like you get to see the pictures and stuff, and like that's where your hype comes from with like weightlifting and stuff. There's not very much to it, but like if Loha Lee like had it animated into this manga or whatever, like he could drive it so many chapters and just make it like you fall in love with it. Like that's how so many different mangas like get into it.
And
Oh, so what was your number one, Lohali?
all
We'll get to
right,
it.
here we go. You ready for this? Sit down in your seats, buckle them up, because it's Hajime no Ippo.
That's yeah.
And I have solid reasoning behind every part of it. So one, it is one of the original sports manga. Not the original. The original is Ashita no Joe from the 1960s and 70s. But Ippo is from the 80s. It is one of the longest running manga of all time.
hmm
We're
Which
at
one is that
over-
about?
It's
Boxing.
boxing. It's
Okay.
11. I think it's like it's over 1100 if I can remember correctly.
Yeah, it has to be over 1100.
So it's over 1100 chapters.
chapters.
What?
Is it over 1100 chapters?
Yes.
Okay,
1100
because the last time I actually looked at the count on that one for the manga, it was at I think 116.
Yeah, it's like I said, that's
It's-
insane.
Let me give you the number. It is 1241.
Oh my god.
Sorry, so 1200. I've been reading it for like 7-8 years. I go through and reread the series once a year. That and I Shield 21. It takes
Crazy.
forever. But the thing is, the artwork you get, like, part of it is just the uniqueness of the series because you get to see the artwork progress from like the 80s all the way into today, and that's something that you don't get to see. So from an artistic standpoint, I really enjoy it. But from a story standpoint, you're following somebody who has. They say he doesn't have talent, but you don't get as far as he did without having talent. First of all, second, it is probably the most real-based sports manga out there, other than maybe Slam Dunk. Like
Yeah.
the super moves in Ice Shield 21 are actually done in real life. They're not even really cranked up to 11 or 12. They're just kind of there. It's
Oh, the super moves in Ice Shield 21.
the Devil Ghost Bat.
Oh yeah, the Devil Bat dive.
Yeah, all that stuff. Like that's cool, and a lot of it is actually still based in science. But the way that Ippo manages to do all that and still keep me hyped is great. It does have one major downfall though. George Morikawa cannot write a romance to save his life at all. Like, if I'm gonna be real here, that is Ippo's biggest weakness. Is there's just the romance, which is something that I don't normally care about, is not great. But Hinamaru Zumo is, I think, quickly.
Oh, the
catching
best
up.
romance. Yeah. Yes. Yes.
I think Hinamaru. Okay, so
It's the most
Graves.
realistic one, for sure.
It is because Graves. I want you to. They're never gonna translate Hinamaru Zumo.
You think so?
I don't
think we're never
so.
gonna get English? We have to see how well the anime does. If the anime can bring in new fans, they will bring it out.
The anime just. I think.
Yeah. Have you seen it? They fucked it a little bit. They rushed it.
So I
They
think.
rushed it.
I think this is where I'm at. If you separate the manga and the anime from each other, I think that the anime is actually pretty good.
Yes, because a different experience.
It's a different experience. It's a. I don't want to say it's a different story, but it's a different
No.
experience. But if you show them side by side, yeah, there's a problem.
I had a problem. Have you seen I think it's the second episode where they introduced I forget his name, the manager, the glasses. They introduced. I was watching with my friend on Rabbit, and they introduced. He just comes in. Hey, I'm gonna be the manager. I was like, what did they just do? I was like, this. Don't get me wrong. I get it. They want to speed through this and get to the tournament because the tournaments are fucking hype. I get it. People are gonna get bored, but it just completely destroys the hype, the build up, the history that character had.
And I think
It's not gonna be as large anymore.
And I think that the what is that called? The tournament arcs in there actually could have been done with, could have been done and it would have looked fine. I think that if they had left the pacing the way that it was, it would have been fine, and we would have gotten a better payoff for Yuma's character transition.
Yes, but they're not sure. I'm assuming from like a business standpoint, they're not sure if this is gonna do well. They want to make sure they get to the hype moments as fast as possible because they don't know. I'm assuming they don't know. But if they would have just kept it the same, it's fucking hype. People would have loved it.
But people are loving it now as it is, so I think it's it's okay. I think if we start to take a look at it as something, I'm trying to think of another anime that's done something similar to this. There aren't very many anime that have done something.
It's like that's sped up through it.
Yeah, they rushed through the beginning, early parts. To say.
Well, they cut out. They've spliced chapters. They
I
cut
think.
out like 10, 15 chapters.
Well, I mean, with that, I mean, Full Metal Alchemist, the first one.
Yeah, but I think what they tend to do with anime at least is like rush and fuck up the endings more to say. With this one, it feels like it's almost the same, but it's different. Like it's like we're still getting there, but we're taking a different route. That's the weird part because we know we're still gonna get there, but we were in two different vans. We had two different fucking experiences.
The destination's the same. The end point, however, I mean the journey there is different. So.
Right.
And we're biased. Obviously, we're biased. We're thinking that our journey's better than the anime's, but
the anime's journey is pretty cool. I mean, it could be a lot worse. But all right, so
I don't know. I mean, I think a lot of them I think manga, because they get the time, are most likely a lot better than the anime just because of that reason.
I'm trying to think of an anime that was better than the manga.
Just Your Lie in April, probably the only one that comes to mind for me, because of the music aspect.
Fair enough. Fair enough. All right, so here's my next question I'm going to pose to both of you. And again, I obviously have very strong views about sports manga in general, but why do you think sports manga has not taken off in the United States like it could have? Like it should?
You got it, Jen? Do you want to go first on this one?
Sure. I mean, I agree with you, but I can't agree with you on part of it. I think it's harder for them to get started because of just the hype from Japan. Like, a lot of them don't sit there and actually think like focusing on sports. And which I like in Slam Dunk, they actually bring it up. Like basketball's not a big thing that happens in Japan and stuff like that. So for manga to break through the roof and be able to come to America is them, beating out a lot of stuff anyway. But then for them to sit there and basically hold themselves up, because if you look at it with sports manga is actually longer running than most other animes. Well, most other mangas, because they usually top out after 20 something or 30 something.
But I think that could also be a Japanese thing and not an American thing.
I want to say the stigma to it. I think maybe you could say the uniqueness in Japan would be maybe they don't see that many sports, especially football, especially basketball. So it's something new. Over here, we're more we know we're ingrained. Sports is ingrained in our blood, and we're looking for more of a fantasy, some escape, some supernatural escape. And we see like, oh, they're playing volleyball, they're playing football. Like, why do I want to read this? Like, this isn't going to be hype. It's not going to be entertaining for sure. Like when I first heard about Haikyuu, I was just like, what? I'm not going to enjoy a volleyball manga, volleyball anime. And every single time I've been wrong.
I can I can agree. So here's I okay, wait, I just want to ask one question before I give my answer. Are you writing on one of the cockroaches in your profile picture?
Yeah.
That came out of like nowhere.
I have him up on the big screen.
That's I
Yeah,
was looking at
Terraform
it too. I
Mars.
was
That's
like,
Kenji. That's Kenji, and he fought the big ass badass terraformer,
I
Okay.
was like, I was
the
doing the same thing. I
like
was
the
like,
armored stag or something like that.
Yeah,
where did this come from? But it looks like Adventure Time.
it
Yeah, no,
does.
no, that's what I commissioned. I paid year third manga reviews to
Yeah.
draw Kenji on the armor stag in the Adventure Time style for my
Oh
profile.
my
Oh
gosh,
my
that's
god, that's amazing. How have I never
Yeah,
noticed that? Like I noticed that it looked like Adventure Time. I just didn't like I couldn't place the other portion of it now that your like logo is just massive on my screen. I just want the world to know how beautiful this actually is.
worth.
everybody can sit there and stop. Like, what is that?
It's the
Okay.
best $20 I've ever spent.
Oh my god. That's I would have paid to give you that. That's amazing and hilarious. And I'm broke. I am broke and I would pay for you to have that.
I feel like the only other thing you need on it is like a little cat and a toaster, like on the shoulder or something. That's it.
For the next one, I'm trying to commission a banner pretty soon. Something, but I need to come up with like a cool, funny idea. Like this one. This one just came to me and like worked out perfectly.
Why don't you do the
Uh,
Misadventures of Flapjack?
yeah,
Oh god,
Misadventures
dude,
of
I don't want to scare people.
I
That
didn't
shit's
say it
scary,
sounded.
man.
Misadventures of Flapjack, but with a Dorohedoro idea
Oh,
behind it.
yeah, that'd be cool. That'd be cool. That would be cool. But I'd frighten too many people. Have you seen Flapjack recently? Gone back and looked at it?
It's
How fucking
terrifying.
disturbing it is.
I mean, it's
It's
supposed
great.
to be disturbing.
Yeah,
I mean, or Ed, Ed and Eddie.
that's true. That's a good one.
Just
All
go
good
back to the
ideas.
classic like Cartoon Network shows. Oh, what was Code Lyoko?
Oh
Oh,
my god, dude. The intro to that's my childhood.
I used to sit there eating macaroni and cheese after school watching that thing.
you make me feel old.
They ruined it. They ruined it with one season. What was it? Like one of the final seasons just like killed it.
I don't know. Anyway, back to the sports topic at hand
Where do we go?
because I went way off reservation there. That one's on me, boys. Um,
You should have talked about sports things that happened in those ones. We could have kept it there.
they kick people's heads around in some of them.
There you go.
So, all right, back to so I don't think I think that to break through the ceiling for a sports manga is a lot harder than like an action manga. First of all, I think that ceiling is ridiculous, and I completely agree with you, Toaster. That I think that or was it Graves? Which one of you said that it was because we're so inundated with sports?
Me. Yeah.
Okay, yeah, Toaster. I completely agree with you that we're so inundated with sports over here that it just doesn't have as easy of a time breaking through. I mean, how cool should sports manga actually be? Like, it should be something absolutely ridiculously insane, something super hype, but we just don't continue watching it. We don't contribute to the conversation. Um, I don't know. I think that sports manga should be bigger, and I want them to be translated just so I. Okay, I'm gonna let you both in on like my deepest dream, my deepest desire for if I ever become like a billionaire. I'm going to pay somebody to translate all of Hajime no Ippo and just distribute it to the world for free. That's it.
I think
For free?
you would think that'd be like an insane idea that you had in your head, but I've had the same idea, well, with Kingdom. Like, if I ever become super wealthy, super successful, it's like, yo, Viz, let's get Kingdom. I'll put up some money. Let's start publishing this shit
I
now.
have that idea with everything. I'm like anything that you can read. Like my big one for that is Ares, which is like an old tactics manga.
You've read Ares?
Yeah, I'm up to like right at a little bit after the one kid defected from their army.
Mikhail?
Yeah, and they're like Ares is like, I'm gonna have to fight him at some point. I'm going to have to fight him at some point.
Oh, Ares is so dope. No one knows about Ares though. Like no one.
Dude,
Oh.
me and one of my friends had a semi company. I mean, he was too crazy with it, so we actually ended up not even getting to do anything. We had a gaming company, and I had a game based off of Ares that was going to be a tabletop.
What?
No idea. I'm gonna look it up. I'll add that to my read list.
Is it okay? Is Ares? I can't remember if it's a manga or a manhwa.
Mangwa. I'm just looking it up right now. I think it's manga.
Mangwa.
Mangwa.
Mangwa. Dude, Ares is so dope. Though if I want to point out the dark horse of just sports manga in general, Hikaru no Go.
Oh god. Don't hit me with that one, dude.
Bam! I feel like that's a big slap in the face right there.
Yeah, it's so sad what happened with that, man.
Like,
Right,
Stop
and they
talking
didn't
about
even continue it. Like,
Yeah.
you realize how far I went reading that one, and I was like, Sai's gonna come back. I know he is. I know he's gonna come back. Never came back. I was like,
even if he
are
didn't
you
come
kidding
back,
me?
I was like, oh, we get to see Hikaru's right. You know, we're gonna get a time skip, see Hikaru like 20 years in
Yeah.
the future in his final match against Sai. Like that would be super sick. And then suddenly, nope. We're gonna.
Well, it was a
end-
lawsuit, right? The lawsuit that stopped it. It was like some actual famous Go player was characterized enough to where he was like, "You need to stop," and they had to.
What?
Yeah, I think that's why it ended. That's why they forced shut it down. They canceled it. I read that. I could be wrong, but I remember reading that years ago. Like, why did it feel rushed? Why did it feel? It was like, oh, because it was canceled. She had a rushed ending because some actual Go player, like the resemblance was too much. Where they're like, all right, need you to stop it. Could be wrong, but I read that somewhere.
I'm looking it up just because I have
Yeah.
to know.
You would think that they would just take that character out, though, or say, "Hey, let me give you a small fee." You know,
I don't know, but Japan. I'm assuming this is like some, totally different culture, and they're just like, yo, not cool.
right?
But let's see, Hikaru no Go. What's another sports
And I don't
manga?
feel like a lot of people know what Go actually is unless you
Yeah.
like, have read it or anything. Over here, it's called Othello. I mean, you can go get it at Barnes and Noble or whatever, but it's Go and Othello are the same game.
Yeah, I wouldn't know about Go without this series for sure.
Okay, here we go. Let's see if we can count some of these as sports. I have my list pulled up, categorized by sports, and there's quite a few. Technically, Air Gear is a sports manga.
Oh, and that one hurts as well because it was so good in the beginning, and then it just had these Super Saiyan power ups that killed that shit.
They were like,
It was so good. Like, you remember that scene where my favorite scene of Air Gear of all time? There's two scenes. Was when they were battling. They were riding on the fence, and then it was his turn, and he did that flip like that, and you see the background of him flipping, and everyone's just looking at him like he's a badass, and he just lands it and goes. It's like that is beautiful. That is
And
exactly why I love air gear.
and that was one of the first. That was like I don't want to say one
The
of the
first
first
arc,
fights.
yeah,
Yeah, that was the first arc. But that's when you're like, oh, everything makes sense. And then suddenly out
yeah,
of nowhere, we can fly now. Our
yeah. It's
rollerblades
like
make us
that
fly.
guy's a robot. It's like what the fuck, dude? What is going on?
Right?
Graves, have you ever you've read Air Gear, right?
I have just seen the anime for Air Gear. I never got to get into the manga because now they've started printing it and everything, but like when I wanted to get into it after like seeing the first little bit of the anime, it was like um you can get like the fifth volume and the seventh, but anything after that, it was like you're gonna pay $50 a volume or something. It was just like right there when it was like dead, and everybody wanted to charge an arm and a leg to get it. And then after that, it started coming back out, and I was like, "Damn it!"
It's another bad thing what they did. So I sold my what I had of air gear because honestly, like I only liked the beginning of it. The end, kind of like I read it. I enjoyed some parts, but it was just not what I wanted. And what really pissed me off was with the publication of you either get them all in singles, or what I was doing is I had the omnibuses, but the omnibuses only go up to like volume 18, and then it's like, well, now you got to get singles, and it's like, man, this is bullshit. I just sold my omnibuses. It's like I'm done. I'll read it online if I want to read it again.
Yeah, there's that debacle. All right, you ready for the next one?
Let's go.
Sure.
Let's see. All right, we've already kind of touched on Ashita no Joe. Have either of you read that one?
A little bit.
What is that one about?
So the first, it's like old school boxing manga.
I would
Oh, okay.
I would almost call it the first sports manga.
Probably. It'd probably be one of the first like serialized continued sports manga because there's probably been some one shot early on, that handled it. But this is like an actual ongoing series.
Well, it looks
Yeah,
like
Wolf's kind of close to it.
Yeah, Wolf's old, right? But I think Wolf's from the 70s, is it?
Yeah.
I found the first two. Oria no Yakyu and Mabu no Daikyoso. I mean, both these are like 30s and 40s old.
Yeah.
And then after that, it was Kyojin no Hoshi or Star of the Giants, Shida no Joe, Tiger Mask, Speed Racer, and
Ooh, Speed Racer.
and Aim for the Ace, the original live action disappointment.
I quit. No, I can't agree to that though. You know, the original live action disappointment was Dragon Ball Evolution.
You don't talk about
Oh,
Dragon Ball Evolution.
God.
Don't. What are you talking about? There's no Dragon Ball movie ever made live action.
Exactly.
All right. So we have that. Have either of you read any of the Baki series? Grappler
Yes.
Baki.
Yes.
All right.
Insane. I love it.
Yeah.
Graves.
I haven't read all of it. I read, I think, maybe a couple of the first ones. It was so weird when I was reading it because I was young, and it was just how they were separated. Like Baki this, like the different names, right? Like they're technically different manga,
There's
and
like
that really
six.
confused me.
It honestly, at 24, it's still confusing.
Oh, so it's kind of like the Higurashi When They Cry, how it's like all the series, but then they split it up where it's like an arc where it's the first two, the second two.
Yeah, kind of. Yeah,
It's like
Oh man,
like
I
the
hate
first,
continuous, right?
yeah.
Because it's like when he's a little kid, and then he grows older as it goes on.
yeah, like it starts off and he's like a small child and his dad's just a bit like not even existent. Then he goes and the next one is he fights his dad, and the third one is they fight Pickles.
Oh yeah,
I quit.
Pickles is a
I like it.
it's
I like the whole body like exaggeration and like exaggerated fighting. So I'm into that.
and honestly it's who shot a video? I think Super Eye Patch Wolf.
Yeah, I watched that. That video was amazing.
He did a phenomenal job of explaining it.
Yes.
So let me run something past you real quick though. So would you consider since you brought up the other one, Air Gear, would you consider like Food Wars like a sports manga?
Cooking, would that be its own genre in itself?
I created a separate cooking genre because you have Yakitate Japan, you have
Yeah, so many.
Cooking Master Boy. I mean, you just that one's such it's like that one's
Its own
so
thing.
genre. Yeah.
Okay.
Another thing while we're talking about Baki is, have you guys read Colosseum? Are you guys up with that?
Do
I'm
tell me
too
more.
I'm too
Colosseum, it's like a super satire political manga, but it's like exaggerated, like that, like the exaggerated muscles, exaggerated fighting, where it's like there's this. Okay, here's the premise.
Here, if you look
Stalin,
at it, you see it.
yeah, it's right there. You can, like that's a everyone has like
Okay.
in a sense like a hero, you know, and there's this new technology where it pretty much eradicates the use of firearms. So now everyone has to fight hand to hand, and there's just these buffed out dudes, and it's like making fun of like Putin, making fun of like everyone, all the world leaders are being made fun of. It's hilarious, and it's just out there,
And
but it
different
reminds me of
people.
Baki.
Jet Li's on it. Or,
Yeah, no,
Bruce
Bruce Lee, Bruce Lee.
Hulk Hogan. Like, it's crazy.
Colosseum. Have you
And it's
guys
only
read?
6 volumes, I believe. It's complete.
Have you read Tough?
Tough? Oh God, that's that one's. Wait, is that the
Is
one?
it
Same
the,
one I'm thinking of? Like that one's super dark, right? Like
What?
is
at
that
the
the
end.
basketball one in the wheelchair?
No,
No, that's real.
no. This
Okay.
is Tough is about a kid whose dad is considered one of the strongest fighters in the world, and it's all about his journey to basically fight his dad. But then you also find out that his dad's not his dad.
Oh, okay. No, I haven't read this one.
There's like three brothers, and then it's a lot. If you like Baki, I think you would like Tough.
You know what I'm thinking of? I just found it. Which what I thought you were thinking of is, have you heard of Shamo?
I've heard Shamo. I've never read Shamo.
So fucking twisted and dark, dude. If you want some twisted and dark, you're legit following the antagonist, essentially. He does some fucked up shit. Like, if you don't want to see your antagonist rape anyone, don't watch this. Like, it's fucked up, dude. It is fucked.
Dude, that sounds ridiculous. All right. Obviously Captain Tsubasa. You've at least heard of Captain Tsubasa, right, boys?
Yes, I've heard of it.
Yeah, that's Danny D's favorite.
Danny, where is Danny D? Normally Danny's in on this. I think Danny's gonna rewatch it. Danny, we're talking about you.
Probably still sleeping right now.
Yeah. Looking at the time.
Yeah, Danny's like 7 hours away from us.
Good lord. Captain Tsubasa though is pretty dope. So I threw this one in here just because it didn't have any other place. And I want your guys' opinion. Gamblefish.
Gamblefish. What's that one?
It's literally just about a dude in high school who just makes money by gambling. Should that be a sports?
I think that has its own genre in itself already too.
You think
There's
would,
that would go into like the mind games genre, like liar game and all that stuff. I would say.
Or the Kakaguri
Yeah.
one. Kakaguri gambling.
Yeah. Okay. I just wanted to see on that one. We've touched a little bit on.
That's what I'm saying. Like how you have subcategories. I totally would agree. Like you could subcategorize it under sports.
But its main category, you think, is going to be mind games.
Right. Just like what I was saying with like Food Wars. I mean, it all depends on how you look at it. It could be subcategorized as sports.
Yeah, I can agree. I think you have main categories and then subcategories. So you know what?
Have we gotten a what is it called? Like a food eating manga? Like the actual like competitions where they like try to eat the most?
Do
we have one of those?
They're probably. I mean, technically Toriko.
Oh, I guess.
What is that? What'd you say?
Like an actual like food competition, you know, like when people actually like the hot dog eating competition, like a manga like that.
Yeah.
I threw Toriko.
What did Lohali say?
He did Toriko.
I threw Toriko into the bus.
I quit.
Don't get me wrong. I love Toriko. It got
That one has so much fantasy to it. That's
That could
gonna
be cooking.
totally exclude it.
That could be cooking manga as well, though, Tark. There's a shit ton of cooking.
It
I
is.
agree.
I would
I
honestly
agree.
categorize. I would almost categorize it as like a cooking food manga before I categorize it as a fighting manga for no other reason than just the insanity that this person came up with the food.
Well, I mean, you also have like fighting, and then you have like I would say fantasy fighting.
Yeah.
I mean, but like
Honestly, I don't know. I feel like Toriko, like, it's one of those series where, like, it was so damn good when I was reading it. Like, I've only read, like, 10 volumes, but I don't know why, but it doesn't hook me to, like, keep going, you know? I think that's its main drawback was, like, I really enjoyed it, and I thought this guy, like, made a great world, great cast of characters, but it didn't drive me to want more.
I think it's one of those that you have to force yourself to sit down and read it all the way through. Otherwise,
Yeah.
you're
I
not
don't,
gonna finish it.
I think there's certain things you got to pull on. Wanting to figure out what Toriko's full menu was drove me, and then the other thing is most of the creatures, if you looked in the subcategory, almost every creature or food that was made in there was drawn by somebody else.
Yeah, by a fan, right?
Yeah, and so that like drove it too. I was like, I want to know more. Like, what did they use from these fans? What were other people's ideas? Like, I could have submitted an idea at one point, and I was like, what were their ideas though?
That's
Yeah.
like I said. It was. I loved reading it, but there were some problems with the ending. Anyway, that's. I want to do a topic on like manga endings for one of these future like manga clubs, where we just talk about how I get super disappointed on certain manga just because a lot of shonen
Most
end terribly,
most manga, most shonen at least do end terribly.
just because they're forced to. The biggest disappointment
Yeah.
though that I've ever had when reading a manga, like I actually got done, like I made it to the last chapter. I was like, man, this is really good. I hope they end it well. Was Katekyo Hitman Reborn?
Oh, yeah. Was that one forced end?
I don't know. I
That
don't.
one was forced to end with the manga. It was forced to end here in America at volume 14.
16, I think. 16? I believe so.
Hold on, I'm looking. Yeah, 16.
It's like the legitimate ending just broke my heart and killed me. It there was no character progression.
I think I think it would have been done a lot better, gathering more fans at least. Was that early part? I think really hindered it. Was when it was a pretty much a GOG manga
Yeah.
for like the first 4 volumes. That's
Yeah.
like that's the same with like Negima. Like it's pretty much a harem manga for the first while. It's like if you can actually like hey get it from the very beginning. If Reborn was Hitman Reborn from the beginning, I think it would have done a lot better.
I think it would have too, and I think that if they had fixed the ending, it still could have gone down as like I don't want to say top 10 shonen of all time, but it could have gone down to like top 20 shonen of all time.
It would have
That's
been like beat the Vandal Buster.
that's certainly
don't
a,
bring
a
up
personal fave though. I always hear that. Like for sure it's not going down as like a general consensus like top 10 or top 5, but it is certainly like a personal fave. Like there's people that will ride or die love Toriko, and that's another series, ride or die Hitman Reborn.
Hitman Reborn. Hitman Reborn was just a lot of fun. All right, next one on the list, Haikyuu.
Amazing.
I haven't even started that one.
That's another one where I think the anime is better than manga though.
The it doesn't grab me.
Really? Have you watched the anime? You need to watch the anime.
My girlfriend won't let me watch it right now.
The anime is amazing. I think the anime is better than the manga, and also I think we're gonna talk about it on the list, but I don't think we'll get to it. Yo Mashi Pedal, the anime is better than the manga on that one as
I
well.
will give you Yaomushi Pedal is better, and that is on the list. Yes. Have you seen?
funny.
Do you own the volumes for
Wait.
Yaomushi?
So
I
feel
had the
like-
first 2, but they're pretty bad.
I feel like we need to know why you can't watch Haikyuu though.
Okay, so she's asleep. She played volleyball in high school, and so she doesn't want to watch an anime dedicated to volleyball.
Why not? That should make you resonate with it more.
I
You're
don't-
like, oh, I remember when I did that shit.
Well, it was also one of the first anime that I tried to get her to watch.
I played football and basketball. I was like, I totally want to go back and play football and basketball after slam dunking Ice Shield 21.
Dude, iShield 21 made me be like, yeah, I picked the wrong position in football, but I think I'll try her. I think I'll try her on Haikyuu again, because that was one of the first ones. I think coming in as like as an American watching sports anime is hard. So then I had her watch Seven Deadly Sins, Full Metal Alchemist, and I've gotten her hooked now. She's complaining because there's no new season of Seven Deadly Sins out yet, and there's no new season of.
Hey, you're pretty evil. I'm just telling you that.
I had to wait 3 years for the for the newest episodes of Seven Deadly Sins. She can wait. She'll live. I had to live through the Hunter x Hunter hiatuses.
Oh god, dude, those are the worst.
Those have been my life.
I'm done with those, dude. It's the same shit now. He always comes back, does a volume, leaves, comes back, does a volume.
He's done 2 volumes this year.
I still haven't read it yet, though.
You haven't read Hunter x Hunter?
No, it's on my shelf, but I haven't read it yet because I'm like,
Amazing.
there's so many. Because I'm one of those people. Like, if so many people hype it up, that's why I haven't read Haikyuu yet. Because so many people hype it up, and I'm like, I can't get into this right now. If I'm gonna have, oh my god, if you haven't read this yet, you're not a real like manga tuber or a real anime fan. Like people try and put you down, and then you're like, but I have X number of da 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 da.
I think that I think to understand a lot of the community's mentality, I think you need to read it. I'm not going to say it's amazing, but I think you need to read it to understand the community's mentality.
Just curious, what's your favorite arc?
Oh.
If you don't say the ant beetle one or whatever it is,
that Chimera Ant arc. See, while I enjoy the Chimera Ant arc, that was also where he started to do a lot of hiatusing. And so it really, like, if you read it all at once, yeah, I can agree it's good. But, like, all that hiatus just broke me from reading.
Yeah, I know. You have to, like, distance yourself from that, distance yourself. I know it's hard to, but you have to.
If I'm gonna go, I'm gonna say York New. No, Greed Island.
York New's. Those are, like, I think those are 2 contenders. Yeah, York New. Yeah, because we're distancing York New from the Tower arc. The Heaven's Tower, is that it's called right? Heaven's Tower?
Yeah, technically you have to because they are 2 separate.
Yeah.
You do take a time skip.
Okay, so Heaven's Tower, that one was really good too.
The whole thing is good, but
the whole thing's good. The whole thing's amazing.
But
the Chimera Ant arc's my favorite simply because of I just think so much dope, amazing things happen that it can't. Like, I loved Greed Island, I loved York New. Those were amazing arcs if you look at it from like an arc point of view. It did everything you wanted to happen. Chimera arc, like, honestly, there are some faults in that arc, but the ups are way astronomically higher than the downs.
But I think that it levels it out. So I think that the most consistent arc with the most consistent world building would have been Greed Island. I think that was the most consistent arc.
That's the best isekai ever written.
It is, even though it's technically not an isekai because they're still in the same
they're on
world.
Island. Yeah, but that's insane. That goes to show you how crazy the Nen system is.
It's ridiculous. All right, I'm going to do the next one that I'm going to bring up is going to make Graves a little mad because he hates me for this, that I own volume number 2. So,
I don't agree.
Graves,
it's not
how's Initial D?
I don't agree with you. It's not sports related.
Oh, it's not sports related, even though it's considered. It's always in the sports related manga list.
Dude, and the worst thing is about that one, because you know that I want it, is I didn't even know about it. It wasn't even hyped, and I randomly was like, I'm just gonna start an anime on Netflix, and I started Initial D, and got through the first 3 seasons, and right as I was about to start the 4th one, they took it off.
It's good. It's so fun. Kat, have you ever read Initial D?
I have not read Initial D yet, but that's another one where I don't want to read it because if I do want to own it, it's going to be a pain in the ass.
Yeah. Though, again, I've been able to find them at my half-price bookstores. I hype this place up so much.
I feel like, Toaster, with your network that you have right now, I feel like you should get people to, just randomly pick one and, put out there, hey, if you guys would try and send me like certain copies or whatever copies you can find of Initial D and see how fast people can get it to you, that'd be hilarious.
I
That's
don't think
what.
that'll. There's people honestly like it's I like I said, I don't feel like I'm big in the community, but it's like there's things where like someone's offered to give me like I was like, oh, I was in a live stream and I was like, I really want Pluto, but I need to find it for a good price. And then someone's like, I love your videos, like I'll sell you Pluto for like super cheap. And I was like, oh shit,
Like,
you know.
damn.
And then in the manga swap, I just sold something. Like I've sold things on there before, and then they're like, they're buying it. They're like, oh, by the way, I love watching your videos. I was like, oh shit, this is weird. Like I'm
That's
selling you
funny.
manga that you've seen in my videos.
Man, it's
Right?
oh, I Initial D is good. It's just like Toaster. You're trying to get me to buy you Ultimate Muscle.
Yeah, I want it. It's rare.
It is that entire thing. No one like where I'm at. People donate manga all the time, but they never
Yeah.
buy anything. So a lot of the manga stays there. Like Detroit Metal City, the first 4 volumes have been there for the past 3-4 months. I just haven't. I have to prioritize my purchasing when I'm there.
I would say that could be a sports one too, subcategorize.
I'm gonna call that a music one because that would be
That's,
Subgenre.
that's why I said subcategory.
true. But would we have to throw Beck as a sports manga then too?
Sure.
And Your Lie in April would be a sports manga.
Yeah. Princess I.
That's a lot of.
There's a lot more stuff we'd have to add into it. Now, yeah, I think we should just kick it out.
Yeah.
All right, so I have one that I don't think either one of you have read. Toaster, you might have done it every now and then. You might have been able to get this one. Graves, how often do you read scans?
I don't read scans anymore.
All right, perfect.
Let me see. Let me try to guess.
If it was like 6 years ago, maybe.
No, we're going in alphabetical order. What's it start with?
K.
I don't think so.
Okay, and it's the Japanese name starts with K.
All right. What is it?
Is it Karate Punch?
No, and it's certainly not a Konohita. I can never say that one, but I classified that. There's some of these that I classified as like fighting manga because that's what they're specifically about, and they don't classify it as sports. But I need to go back and reclassify it. Anyway, it is Koko no Hito, the Climber.
The Climber. Is that What is that? That's what it's called in English. The Climber.
The Climber, yeah.
No, I haven't heard of it.
It is legitimately just let me double check again. I'm pretty sure it's a seinen. First of all, a sports seinen.
The only climbing one I know of is Mountains of the Gods or something like that by Taniguchi.
Mountains of the Gods.
Yeah, I think so. I think that's what it's called.
Mountain of Gods. Is that an Ito one? Yeah, Mountain of Gods is an Ito serialization. It's
So,
ghost stories.
would
Is
you
it the Summit of Gods?
Would you classify Vagabond as a sportsman, kind of?
No.
No, can't do it. There are a few that I have to go back and reclassify because I have.
Isn't there one about Kendo though?
Ooh, yeah, I guess you could say that would.
Kendo.
But it
count
has to be
Kendo.
specifically Kendo.
Yeah, isn't there one specifically about Kendo?
Yeah, I believe so.
I don't know.
And by the way, you are thinking of the Summit of the Gods
There we go.
by Jiro Taniguchi, published by
That's what I'm thinking of.
Shueisha, 5 volumes.
So what I'm thinking of, super expensive.
Oh man.
What else? Let me see if because there's one that I have that should technically count.
You got me like looking at everything, trying to figure out if there's any just randomly that I got sitting out.
What do you count as like? Would you count like specific? Because this is where I run into it. Like, what would you count fighting manga as? Like actual just martial arts manga? Would you count them as sports or would you count them as
I think martial arts would be sports if it's specific, if it specifies the type of martial arts they're doing, if people are sticking to that. But if it's just fighting and people are using martial arts in a way, like to fight on the street or something, I wouldn't consider it. But if they're actually in tournaments or if,
Yeah.
you see the different styles, yes. Other case, no, because then it would just be like a fighting manga with other aspects.
So
I guess if it gives you like the history of it.
like so would karate Shokoshi Kohinata Minoru would probably be a sports, but the breaker would not be.
No, the breaker. You read the breaker?
Who hasn't read the breaker?
I don't think G Graves has read the breaker.
Dude, the breaker is
The goat. That's the goat.
I haven't read the breaker.
Oh, okay. So you're never gonna read it in English. You're gonna have to. You're gonna
Hey,
have to.
it's coming out next year. The part 3 is coming out next year.
I know. I am so
It's
excited.
crazy.
If you,
It's crazy.
This is the amazing thing. If you find somebody else who has read the breaker, like I've never heard somebody who has read the breaker say that they did not like the breaker.
Amazing, dude.
In the
It's a manga. That's another manga.
the ending on that one of part 2 of New Waves was so dope.
To be fair, though, I think the whole climax there, because part 2 was so slow. I know people were so like disappointed in the beginning, but as it ramped up, like with a certain death, and then when we go to the island and when he like awakens and whatnot, it was just like from there on, it was just fucking a non-stop roller coaster ride
They
of just greatness.
like the slow build up. I was like, oh, this is kind of cool, and that's what they're doing with Ippo right now. Is they're doing a slow build up, but that slow build up for that you were like, it was like a roller coaster. Like, oh, we're kind of average right now. We're average, and then when it cranked up, it just dropped. It oh, when he starts to pull the needles out of himself.
Yeah, that's insane.
And you're just like, and the guy, what was it? Ghost Hands, the old doctor
And
guy.
what was the comment? They always make those comments is like, oh, it's excruciating pain to even take out one, and then you see all of them scattered around. It's like, what?
And the Ghost Hands doctor's like, he's like, boy, just stop moving around. I want to see what you become because you're a monster.
Yeah.
Like the second that they said, Graves, there was one line in this entire thing where they go, this kid is a legitimate monster. And everything that you've read up until that point, you're like, I mean, he's pretty strong, he's pretty talented. But then all of the like old guard basically say he's a monster, and you're like, damn. And they legitimately show what he's able to do. You need to this.
It all goes back to the first series, right? Like when he eats the pill.
Yeah, that's what it
Yeah,
comes from.
it all fucking goes back to that.
He's like Neo.
It's so good. I want to get through
Have
this
you read Tower of God?
Tower of
No.
God.
That's a webtoon. If you like the Breaker, you need it. Like, you should read that before the Breaker comes out because you'll fall in love with that one as
Because
well.
it's Tower of God.
Because that's another.
Tower of God has like 2 or 3 seasons because since it's technically an online comic,
Yeah.
they do it in seasons.
Yeah.
And then there's also
God
that
of High
one-
School. Think of that
Noblesse. Noblesse.
Those ones are like top tier webtoons. But I think with Tower of God, you'll like it, especially if you like, because I love those aspects when manga goes like, this guy is a fucking monster. I love that. I just love. I don't know why. It just fucking hypes me. But in Tower of God, they do it where like in the very beginning, he's like learning how to control Shinsu or whatever it's called, like the actual like spatial magic in a way. And like he's doing it right, and he's like playing himself down, like I can do one, I can control. They call it rooms. I can control one room, but I'm having a lot of trouble controlling the second one. And like he's like really down on himself, and the teacher like walks up to him. He's like, "Oh, you're having trouble?" He's like, what you learned to do in 1 week, I did it, and it took me a year, and they called me a genius for it. Like, what am I supposed to call you? I was like, oh god.
The monster.
Yeah, I was like, this is fucking hype, dude.
So I was looking around. Have y'all ever read Suzuka?
Suzuka. What is that about?
It's a track and field manga.
Oh, no. I think I've
No.
heard of it. Did that just become an anime? Isn't there an anime right now that's like about track and field, about like cross country?
I have no idea. That's kind of what it like looks like.
Oh, that is it old? That looks a little old, huh?
Yeah, it's it's an old Del Rey one. That one is probably the biggest one though that has a love story in it, where I think it's actually amazing.
Okay, so that one's one that I need to read because for some reason that as I get older, the more romance manga that I want to read.
I
Well,
mean, like,
romance done well, right?
Yes.
Not. Oh, have
because
you Cross Game? Have you guys read Cross Game?
I've heard Cross Game, never read Cross Game.
So,
Welcome, Little
go,
no,
Toxic.
go. Yeah, I'm reading. I'm really into him right now. So I'm reading Cross Game. Every single time I buy an omnibus for it, I finish it and then I order the next one. So I'm like really happy whenever the next one comes in. But that's his only work that's been published in English. So I'm like reading the like he has another one called Touch, I think. I'm reading that one online and I'm feeling good about it because it's like it doesn't have an English release. Like I don't feel bad for reading this online.
See, that's the thing is I never feel bad if
I
it's
never I never feel bad being a pirate.
yeah.
handing out my patches.
Meanwhile, fucking Jin over here has 4,000 volumes. He's like, dude, come on, man.
You're making us look bad. You're making the pirates. You're making the pirates look terrible.
Whatever.
Let's see. So we talked about the climber.
Yeah.
Oh, that's not good. So a little toxic. Was telling me. So remember how Little Toxic last time told us about Ice Shield 21
Yeah.
last time?
Mhm.
He says that when he got there, they were asking $350 for something that was beat to crap.
Oh man.
It was ex-library, apparently.
Oh.
What would you do in that situation?
Wouldn't
Depends
buy
on how
it.
bad you want it.
Oh, page is missing? No. Once page is
Oh.
missing, that's no buy.
No, that is...
If it's just the cover, tape it up.
Yeah, if it's just a cover, tape it up. But if there's pages missing, that is a no buy. Like they made it sound better than what happened. Just yeah, I agree with you. I'd find a way to read it, but don't settle for something that bad. Yeah, I'd get something else.
I was
I've the worst manga I've ever bought in off eBay. I bought volumes 1 to 24 of Rave Master in like horrible condition. Like some of them were like they were good, some of them were okay, and some of them were like the they were bad. They were bad. Nothing, no pages missing, but they were bad. Like the covers were torn. There's stickers, like the library stickers and everything. And it was 1 to 24, and he sold it to me for $24, $1 a volume. And I was like, all right, whatever.
Yeah, I mean, if you
killing
know
me.
what you're getting into, that's fine. But if you're gonna be
Yeah.
asking $350 for some water damaged and missing books, no. If you're asking for $1, yeah, I'll do that just so I can.
Yeah.
Like, go through it, take out the good stuff, and then try and give away the rest.
Like I'm trying to reread it because it's my childhood and like maybe complete it, but I'm gonna have it like in a corner of my manga collection because it's just so ugly. Like
Yeah.
I don't want to display it. I don't want people to see it. I don't want them to have this impression of me.
I
You
feel
don't-
like between you and Loha Lee, sucker punch on both sides of the face, man.
Hey, what can I say? I rave about Rave Master all the time.
I still think that was his best work. I think it was better than Fairy Tail.
It's 100% better than Fairy Tail. I mean, the emotional arcs that you go through, the characters are better. Everything about the manga is better.
I think the power system was so unique and different. And then when he went to Fairy Tail, I don't feel like that was the case. I don't think the power system was unique at all.
No.
Honestly, the power system in Rave Master, the putting the tiny swords within the bigger sword. I thought that just when I was a kid, I was like, dude, that's amazing.
The Silver
Fan-
Claimer.
Did y'all see this
Yeah.
one?
Which one's that?
The
Playground.
playground.
Oh, I haven't got.
What is it? What is that? What is that? By the way, like is that
Hiro
short
Mashima.
stories by him?
Yeah, it's short stories by Hiro Mashima.
Okay. Dope.
I'm done. I think I'm done with him for a while. Just so after Fairy Tail, I'm just like,
Okay, you
I
need to
don't
do
know.
yourself a favor.
I just can't.
Eden Zero, man. You're talking to the one guy who has been reviewing Eden Zero since the beginning. This
I think I'm gonna wait another 20 chapters and see if you're still hyped about it.
I
He'll
think
fuck it up somehow, man. He'll fuck it up.
Hey,
he's if this
I have Eden Zero's coming in the mail. I'm waiting for it tomorrow or Saturday.
when you
It'll
read
be
it,
here.
you need to tag Toaster and go, man, this is pretty dope. Like, you know how
Better than Rave Master?
I think it's on par. So far, it is
Okay.
on par and on pace with Rave Master. It's that good and it's dark. Like, oh, I don't wanna say anything because you're gonna read it in like a day, but it gets dark. Like the very
Kill
first
it.
chapter.
Don't say a word.
Oh,
You and Manga Fairy, I always can't watch your videos on Eden Zero because of that.
oh, Manga Fairy. I wish she was here because then she would agree with me that it is so dope. It is so fun. Oh, when you read it tomorrow, you gotta just text me and let me know when you get it and when you get done with it. Oh, hey, Smokey. The cat is here. Everybody say
I
hello.
got like 4 minutes before I gotta go put somebody to bed.
Okay, well we will keep. I think my cat
I
broke
just got a
my
text.
my cat broke my board.
No,
What did you do?
Smokey.
Smokey. Fine, Smokes. Anyway, there's a cat butt in the window now.
There
one
is.
second.
At least his tail doesn't curl up and make like a mustache.
That is very true. That is very true. Is that? Hey, Smokey. Oh, there. Almost did. He almost brought in that mustache. Now he's just sitting here in front of my screen. So, Toaster, I have a question for you.
What's up?
If I were to buy somehow Eden Zero and send it to you, would you read it?
I think I'd be obliged to read it.
Damn it. It's good. Graves, once you get done, oh man, it's good. It's just know it's I enjoy it a lot. I think it's gonna
Hey.
take the place of Fairy Tale handily.
If it helps you out, the description on the story sounds good. I've already pre-ordered up to volume 3.
I'm okay with that. Let's see. I want to touch on a few more of these manga. So, there's somebody who made one of the hypest sports manga of all time. Not saying it was good, I'm just saying it was hype. And he made a second one that failed miserably. Can you guess who that is? What manga was the first one and what the second one was?
The only one that comes to mind, but I don't know if he did a second one, would be Kuroko no Basket.
You are correct.
Because they did do a second one, right? There was like another arc,
well,
in a sense.
he
It was the
did.
same characters, right?
No,
Oh, wasn't?
he reutilized his designs and made
Oh, God.
made a golf manga.
Oh, shit, that sounds interesting, though.
It only lasted 1 year.
Uh,
Hey, how are you gonna make golf sound good?
They went
can?
Prince of Tennis. Think
He did
golf
Prince of
meets
Tennis?
Prince of Tennis.
Oh man.
They literally were like, "This is the corkscrew wind shot. It's not affected by wind at all because of the speed of the spin." I was like, "Oh my god."
I do have Prince of Tennis on my shelf.
Prince of Tennis was another. I liked it. I enjoyed it. That was my favorite one when I was a kid. Like my favorite sports manga when I was young. But it was. You've read it, Jen? Have you read it, Lohali?
Oh, I've been considering buying it. Basically everything that I own with the exception of Rurouni Kenshin, I have read and I want to own Prince of Tennis because it is so over the top.
Yes. Okay. Over the top. We can agree there, but it was not that way in the beginning. It was so realistic, and then out of nowhere, like 100 and something chapters in, some guy there's no powers, there's nothing supernatural going on. Out of nowhere, this guy just creates a doppelganger of himself, and it's like, yeah, he can do that. That's what we're doing now. there's powers. It's like, what the fuck just happened?
Or
Double
when
team.
he created the
Yeah.
black hole to himself.
It was like it comes out of nowhere, right? It's like, okay, we're just tennis. Like they're doing these abilities, but it's just tennis. And then out of nowhere, they just add supernatural. It's like, what the fuck?
Would you recommend Prince of Tennis to somebody who's not into sports manga? I would not. I would only recommend Prince of Tennis if you are very confident in your ability to be shocked.
I think, yeah, but for that, I would recommend it for someone that wants like some shockingly different, but it was still hype, has its hype moments. But I think the one sports manga that I would recommend to anyone right now, at least, would be Hinamaru Zumo. Just because if that's your first ever sports manga, it's an easier one because it's more physical and a lot more hype
It is.
and really, and you can like get in with the conversation because it's ongoing. And if you try to get into Ice Shield 21 Slam Dunk, you're just going to be added to the group of people that know it's amazing, and that's not as fun as being in the group of people that are actively talking about it and reading it. in my opinion.
Yeah. Do you gotta go put somebody to bed?
I actually have to go. I have to go to work.
All right. Well, let me do
Let's
my
go
quick
for it
sign
then.
out. That way everybody can go. Graves, you do your sign out. Then Toaster, you can do yours, and I'll do mine.
I forgot what to say.
It's all good. Go follow Jing
I'm
Graves.
Jim Graves. I will catch you guys later. Thanks for watching. Stay tuned for other videos by Aloha Lee, ToasterCat, and me.
All right. ToasterCat, go.
ToasterCat, you guys have a great day. Read some manga. You guys keep watching Jin Graves. Keep watching me. Keep watching Aloha Lee. You guys take care.
And as always, welcome to the manga community. Little Toxic, he said Hinamaru Zumo or Hinamaru's Sumo. Welcome to the manga community, everybody new and old. Thank you for joining us tonight talking about sports manga. And as always, it's your boy Aloha Lee, signing out. You too, Smokey.
Smokey, come back.